it's, and my belief is that we're all in a lead generation business. Now, I just happen to specialize in real estate sales, so I would say I'm a lead generation business specializing in real estate sales. And I would say at the beginning, I focused a lot on lead generating for listings, and that's really what I primarily focused on. That was also a little bit of a mistake because I understood the concept of leverage, yet I didn't focus on it early on in my career. And so I would focus my time on lead generating for listings, lead generating for listings, lead generating for listings, and then I would just hire somebody. And I wouldn't necessarily attract the right talent to the suited role for the individual, mm-hmm. right? Lots of beautiful people that I've worked with through the years, yet I've learned that, that typically we're geared to do something in our lives that is going to resonate with, our talents, our gifts. And so I wasn't taking the time to lead generate for the talent. And so what I've learned through the business and through the years of the business is today I spend around 50% of my time looking for talented people and about 50% of my time looking for business.
If you had done that at the beginning, would you be farther along?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you regret.
That was a learning opportunity for me.
Okay.
I won't say I regret.
And was that something that occurred to you? You're like, oh, I'd love to be doing that, but I got to feed the beast, feed the beast, feed the beast. Was it a conflict, or was it just something you had to unlearn?
It was something I had to unlearn.
Okay.
It was something I wasn't aware of it, until an individual in our company had shared with me to say, Dan, I can go out and I can go in pretty much any place in the country, and I can go and I can find listings and I can find buyers. And he said, and I can spend that same amount of time going out and finding talented people, creating an opportunity for them, providing them with the systems, the structure, the coaching, the opportunity, and then they do the business, and then I support them for their success.
So let me sort of open this question up. Like, as you guys are listening to this, are you thinking, well, that sounds good. I mean, I'd love to be able to be working on the business and attracting good people to help me manage the business, but I'm so busy, I'm the essential man, I'm the whatever. I mean, Dan's saying that he had to unlearn some things in order for him to sort of grow. Are there things that, like, what do you think, if you were sort of working with some of these people on their business, how would you shake that lesson in and help them get it sooner than later? Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, first having a focus and a clarity on what your intention is, right? So for me, one of my other things that I'm unlearning is to make things very, very complicated. And so as I develop, I'm making things much easier, right? So it's like very simple for me. It's if I look at building a business, it's really just two things. That's coming from one thing, right? And that's, I will.
let me get the dry erase board.
Forget that. But here's the thing. It's lead generating for business, in my case for real estate listings. It's lead generating for talent. Okay, so that's the one thing that you would do in your business so that when you do it, everything else becomes either easier or unnecessary is to lead generate.
Okay.
So now as you build a business, you're going to look at the business into three sections. So the foundation of a business is going to be to lead generate. And again, talent and business. Then the second part of that, as you build upon that, is going to be organization building. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's making sure that you're attracting the right talent for your business. That's making sure that you're getting the right people in your business, etc. And then the final stage of a business is going to be leadership.
Now, one of the things that I remember, this is a conversation that you had with Frank in front of your BNI meeting, and I recorded some of this, and I remember being struck by that because you were talking about how the skills that you use for lead generating are not exactly the opposite, but they weren't the skills that you need for organization, but then they become again the skills that you need for leadership. Talk about that.
Yeah, if you look at the skills to be able to find business, you're looking at attractiveness, charisma, resilience. You're looking at somebody that's relatable, right? That's how many people are able to attract business. So those behaviors and skills they actually get in your way as you're building organization. Because I fall in love with you, right? I'm like, oh my goodness, this is the greatest guy in the world, yet I don't take the time to actually identify, is Fraser going to succeed in this role? Mm-hmm. Okay, in the past I did that.
Okay.
Okay.
So you need to be a little clear-eyed in the middle level.
Yeah, I think you have to follow a system. Mm-hmm. right? And at least that's been my experience, right? Because I can sort of naturally just attract business, find business. That's sort of a natural way of me being. That definitely gets in the way of me hiring, right? So I have to slow down. I have to follow a proven system, which I do in our hiring processes. And in fact, so I'll give you just a small snippet of that example is when I hire somebody, I have to defend that hire to my colleagues, right? And I have to sit there and say, Frazier, and I have to defend why I would hire Frazier and why Frazier would succeed wildly in a certain role.
By the way, that's how I trick him into doing testimonials. I'm going to take that clip. Frazier will succeed wildly in doing
Right? And so then, I have somebody ask me, that I defend to, and I say, Dan, would you put your career on the line for this hire? Mm-hmm. Right? And if I hesitate to answer that question, I don't make the hire. Mm-hmm. Right? So, and literally, that's every single hire that I make.
I know that one of the things, you're talking about systems, and I want to have you talk about Greetings, Virginia,
sure.
And sort of the origin of that, yeah. and how that grew, but also, systems, and we fall in love. I don't know if everybody in here is just has fallen in love with systems. We talked a little bit, I think, last week about E-Myth, the concept of really defining every element of your business and what have you. That's like a 20-year-old book now, sure. Right? But again, when you're talking about the building, the leverage, and what have you, sometimes it's like I can fall in love personally. I can fall in love with creating the systems, and I'm not out there feeding the beast. Or then I could shift over and try to feed the beast, and then I neglect the systems. Right now, you're running probably 4 or 5 different businesses, but let's just talk about your brokerage, the management of your brokerage, the one that you own.
Yeah.
And then Greetings, Virginia, which is your real estate business.
Sure.
Talk about what your process was for building the systems in that business, or how important are the systems in that business? Are they all important? Have they become less important than getting the right talent? What's that balance?
They're critical, and I'll talk about both businesses. So it's just having a system to follow would be a foundation of that, right? So there's people that have succeeded wildly before us. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So if there's people that have succeeded wildly before us, then they've left clues. Mm-hmm. There's also people that have failed before us, and they've left clues. Mm-hmm. So when you can find the commonalities of those that have succeeded before us, and then study those commonalities and then emulate that as closely as possible, it's predictable that you'll have the same success as they've had.
Okay, so we've talked about this, and this is where Dan and I, it's angel and devil on the shoulder, because it's absolutely true, right? It's the success leaves clues, and if you study success and try to replicate people who are successful,
that's right.
If you replicate, but then there's also, we're entrepreneurs,
yeah,
and I think people have their passion, and there's also the kind of creativity,
sure,
or the desire to do it. So you were able to talk about how you put that into place, how you emulated.
Let's talk.
Yeah,
entrepreneur. I'll answer that, but you mentioned entrepreneurs, which we all are, right? So entrepreneurship will bring you to a ceiling.
Okay.
Okay. And typically, what happens to entrepreneurs is that we hit a ceiling, and then we're not able to break through that ceiling, and we fall back a little bit, and then we go back up, we hit that ceiling, we keep that pattern, right, until one of two things happen. We either get so frustrated and we quit, or we figure out a way to break through that ceiling. So as we find a way to break through that ceiling, it's about being purposeful rather than being an entrepreneur. Okay, so to be purposeful, you get that through systems and models, you get that through accountability, you get that through coaching. Okay, so that's the way that an entrepreneur can deal with that challenge of what you're talking about, right? So it's about finding the systems, the models, the people to be able to hold you accountable, the people to coach you, and then that gets you through that ceiling. And then typically as a business grows, then you're going to hit another ceiling, you just repeat and rinse.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah. So now, what did I do specifically was understand and say, okay, first of all, I have to have a vision for my company, right? And so when you're looking for an entrepreneur that intends to build a big business, in my opinion, you have to have a vision for that business and make that vision so large that you can attract talent to you, that talent sees the opportunity within that business. Okay, and such that they would never even consider to have to leave your business, because whatever they want, whatever their goals, dreams, aspirations are within their own life, that they're able to achieve that.
So it's like you're saying, it's big enough to accommodate. It's big enough not only to attract people, but they don't have to leave it in order to keep going. Now here's a question for you. So, again, looking at everybody here, some of you may have huge visions for your businesses. And there's also we talk about for the youth entrepreneurship stuff, we say think big, start small right now, right? Because too many people, they can defer. But you do have that thinking big is what summons forth that power. And like you're saying, summons forth the people to help you accomplish it. How do you balance, when you were starting out, how do you balance big vision with, but I can't be focused on those, we've all done, millionaire spreadsheets, right? Billionaire spreadsheets. How do you stay focused on, but I need to do the step to get to that point